pay attention to the journey, which was once a structure used to help motion large steel steam-driven machines, taking the black rock fuel ripped from the ground, developing societies with industry, technology. But like all journeys, there is an end. Now, a proud stone monolith used to view life of a town now changed. With industry gone, left in its place, a new journey begins, like a viaduct spanning over a river of uncertainty, moving to a future obscured by the smoke clouds of the industrial past.
Smells like Papa's fleeces in his scalp.
His scalp.
Yeah.
And there was a burn over at the Barritis, and we used to go up there, spend the whole day up in this burn.
I can't think.
There's a lot of lovely walks. At the moment there's a lot of daffodils and there's woodpeckers.
A murmur.
You see the seasons changing, the different flowers, different
You can
trees.
see over a field with houses and stuff from the music classroom.
And there are ducks in the River Lugger.
Papa. We used to jump over it to go to Aunt's house. Yeah.
What's the funniest thing you can remember about your gran?
The thing that I remember most about my gran, of all the
My gran, oh aye. What one? Well, my mum's...
What's the funniest thing about your gran?
She never stopped singing or humming tunes, and it was usually from Redemption or Sankey hymns, and even when we were sitting having meals, because she stayed with us for 23 years.
My mum's dad was a miner. I've got a vague memory of him. I do remember his pit bits, so that must be a really early memory for me.
My granny was a wee round woman who was really very cuddly. And the most unusual thing about our family was my granny had 17 children.
I remember doing the dishes one time, and she didn't like the way we did the dishes. She was like, put that plate in the water and wash it, because you'd be pulling it out too. She was like, put that in. But it was always a good laugh. I just remember them all being drunk. And do you remember Darrick Place? Remember that wee room at the side, outside the kitchen? We always seemed to be sitting in there for some reason.
Get shotties.
Aye, while they all sat and
What were
get
they like when
drunk.
they partied together?
Nuts. There was always singing. My dad was always playing the guitar, and everybody had their songs that they would sing. I'm trying to remember what your grand's song was.
Is it no crazy?
Oh aye, it was, aye. Patsy Cline, aye. And Auntie Ellen, oh I loved her. You remember her? Remember her house?
We always say we'll
I loved
dance,
her house.
and you always sometimes do. In 50 10-year souls, to Shaka Khan, or by the smear of steamy windows, the hymn of laughter, a backing track, in the front room, or garden after school, and I felt famed as you wooed my Elvis hips, swung burning love, beside the electric fire, till dinner in plastic trays.
I am about 7 years old, and I'm down in my hunkers beside the beaten path that wanders its way across the moss to the pit bin. And in the hollow of my left hand, I'm holding a wee puddock. It's about 1 inch long, and we're looking at each other intently. It feels warm and cool at the same time. It's a yellowy green colour, and tickles my palm with the slight movement of its and has coal black eyes. Somewhere not too far away, I can hear the familiar cry of the hawk. I'm no more than 100 yards from my home, Midview Cottage, Nowtop, New Cumnock, and I look over and wonder about closing my fingers round the wee creature and taking it home to show Mum. Whether or not it senses my intention, it chooses that moment to make its escape, and with a single leap is back home among the soft, damp moss where it belongs.
See, when folk talk about where you fae. In reflection, I mean, I've been away for 25 years, but when I still talk about that, I'm a youth of Cumnock, fae Cumnock.
It's not about living there, it's about belonging.
And the first thing they said to me when I went in is, "Oh, where are you from?" And I said, "Oh, Mauchline." They said, "Oh, up country."
Getting to 14 and then being allowed to go on the bus to Ayr, and all you did was walk about up and down the shops in Ayr.
And I'm originally from Muirkirk.
I was brought up in the country. My father was a shepherd.
Well, at one point in my life I stayed in Auchinleck.
We stayed in Cronbury, out in the country at that time.
Muirkirk is a very small ex-mining community in East Ayrshire.
Craigens, and then the big hill behind Craigens.
And we stayed about a mile from Lugger.
When I was wee, if somebody said, "Come to eat,"
I was about 8 or 9 year old when I moved home.
Mauchline was the same.
Cumnock, New Cumnock. When I was wee, the separation between Auchinleck and Cumnock was a railway line. I would have seen when I was wee, Mauchline was
But that would still be a magical place for you.
when I moved to the other side of Cumnock.
Wally's gammon. Gammon for lunch, licked clean in a room too full. God's day jitters sting.
There was an organisation called the Missions that used to come to the local church, and all of the children in Muirkirk would go to the fun play times that they would bring to the village. They were a Christian organisation, and I remember going home and asking my mother if I could now become a Christian. She laughed so much. Then she told me I already was a Christian. I still laugh to this day at the thought of me asking that silly question to my mother.
I was going to ask everybody to say something, and I was going to write that down, but I was driving home from Kilmarnock, and I started thinking about time. And then I thought, Ken, that's the one thing my mum had for all years. But it was defined in all different ways. But she had time for everybody. She still wrote letters.
Handwritten?
Aye, she never got into. She hated computers. She still wrote her letters to her pal in Canada, and
something intimate about that though.
There is, isn't there?
It's somebody's touch when it comes to somebody's touch.
It's all coming back. Xavier's got a pen pal in America that they just met on Instagram, I think it was, or TikTok, and I was a bit at first, but then I thought I had pen pals. Like you joined the pen pal association or whatever it was called when I was young, and I had pen pals for Germany and Spain and stuff like that. I think it's really nice. She gets really excited when a letter's coming, and she took a lot of time to write the letter and make up like a Spotify playlist and different things, and I think it's really nice, isn't it, to have that type of communication.
We had a coal fire when we got married first. you can't beat a coal fire. It's just lovely. But also it's very stewy and dusty, and you certainly had your work cut out when you had a coal fire. We had background heating, so our radiators were also hit by the coal fire, and it wasn't really efficient at all. Some of our bedrooms when we got married first had coal fires to heat the rooms.
Dear wee Betty Brunshawks, it came to me a word for help through someone or other, mother or brother. You've been having a bother to sort into order the years long gone past and beyond. Although it dawned on me you might, so I compiled a while, pondering style and how many miles. Time's a creature, many-legged. I told you so, you asked, you begged. It has a tendency, you see, to mix, to muddle, drowned in puddles, long forgotten, once besotted. I pray you please, remember.
Some of the games that we played when I was younger was skipping ropes, Chinese ropes, kick the can, hopscotch, peever, hide and seek, all done outside, all played outside, and the boys usually played football. We had lots of freedom.
I met you at Yea High. You looked to me the length of sky. You told me call Brunshawks, a name coined upon the docks by the little house on wheels of an auntie and uncle. Recall at all, but you were small. I've collected specks of your years for fear that you've forgotten. Peruse at your pleasure, remember in leisure, the treasure box stuffed, the films and rows of films and films you set the bar, singing twinkling, twinkling, smallest of stars. I won't bore you more, bore you sore, bore you to the bungalow's door. Hazards a try, humour me, sigh. Yours in some place, sometime.
I was hewn from the coal seams and rocky soil, sore, thinning row upon row, hacking the seam after seam of unforgiving coals, raw, scrabbling through tunnels and canary seam after seam, hacking seam after seam, hacking seam after seam, hacking seam after seam.
The first and most violent disturbance of the pre-industrial landscape, agriculture and small settlements, was based chiefly on coal mining and quarrying. The drive to regenerate such areas ranges from the admiration of spoil heaps, the blending of starkness into the landscape, to the obliteration of the past. But however it is achieved, there is a need to remember and celebrate past lives and actions, a past before men and machinery extracted coal and iron ore from this land. Regeneration shouldn't mean destruction. Let us celebrate the return of nature to our disturbed land. Nature will always come back and reclaim the landscape. Weeds, trees, plants will grow, birds will return, ponds, ditches and streams will bring an abundance of life, fish, water beetles, toads, dragonflies. Old footpaths, bridleways, dismantled railway lines, redundant field boundaries and hedges will remind us of past lives and actions and will support wildlife and habitats.
It's good because I've got all different people and it's great, everyone's holding their pins differently as well.
They do.
Yeah, it's good.
A childhood in the village lies sun-dusted and spoiled. Walks as long as my ponytail round the back roads. Sticky-handed cause a cone from the cafe. A face you ken in every second window. Walking to the shops for a loaf or an ice pole or a wee cake of chocolate. The same wee pubs with the same wee men spilling out the door. Every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Familiar beery breath from our papas and daddies as they squeeze us. That wee bit tighter, they're seeing stars. Circled in sameness and riddled with fondness for the past. Knew him when he was a baby, now his cheeks are leathery with the winter wind that smacks your face in the trek to the bus stop. Stitching stories from our mums and grannies about the bingo and the old discos, their first jobs at the chippy and their last at the hospital. Holding your breath as your wee village lags. Speed of the world too quick for this place. Entrenched in tradition, kept alive by community. But we'll watch it move on and grow up, just as we did. From sun-dusted summers to washing sweet sticky residue off our working hands. 'Cause a cone from the cafe, from the place you grew up, pops the lump in your throat as you sigh. I'm home.